Welcome to the Wise Take DFS Podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013, and I'm joined once again by one of our Wise Take favorites, one of our Wise Take regulars, Patio Joe. You can find him on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref. That's R-E-F. Patio, how we doing, my man?
We're doing well. It's Sunday night. Just got finished watching Game of Thrones a little earlier. Got my boy to bed, so it's good. Talk a little DFS. Doing all right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and obviously, we might as well just talk about the obvious. So today was the FanDuel Live Final in Chicago. We had our boy Paulie D out there repping the nation, repping the Owls, and then we also had Goudsaab out there with 2 seats. So it was a good day, man. It was exciting. It was just what do you say? It's a final, and like, because when you have like guys on your team, like your boys in there, like you really feel vested. Like you find, like, for me, I even had a hard time setting my own lineups because I'm just thinking, what's Paulie doing today? And I'm like, and like obviously Paulie was texting us a little bit and like trying to get a couple thoughts, and you don't want to bum rush him with ideas because he's the one in the seat, so you don't want to necessarily like hey man, this You're just kind of trying to play more devil's advocate for him to help him think out the thoughts. But man, shout out to those guys, man. It was a tough position, man. It was a tough field.
Yeah. I was happy that the one guy that I was like really like kind of like banged my head on, like, you wound up getting him 22 points. So I felt good. I would have felt bad if like he got a 0, but I told him to play Kane. Yeah, because he was my play. He was my play of the day today. I loved him against Holland, and he came through for him, so I was happy.
Yeah,
and it was a good day. And what I wanted to do is to maybe show the winning lineup here. So what I'm going to do is, can I share my screen and will people be able to see? Oh, so hold on one second.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Let me see if I can do that. Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't know what happened. Anyways, let's just continue. Oh wait, there you are. Okay, boom. All right, so yeah, I just kind of wanted to go through the winning lineup. So as you can see here, the winning lineup is the person on the right here, CK013. Never even heard of the guy. But he put together a winning lineup where he went with Kluber and Jimenez, Dominic Smith. He paid down at first base, and then he went what probably won him the tournament were the 2 plays of Whit Merrifield and Curtis Granderson. Granderson was leading off today, 2,700, good price. For some reason I wasn't really on him. And in the Met stack is what won it for him. He had the 2,400 on Winker, didn't really do much. Sano finally broke out of his slump sort of and hit a home run, but a lot of those people I wrote about today. So it was kind of a catchy lineup with a Met stack, and that's what won it for him. And props to him, man. He's $250,000 richer.
Yeah,
it was. If you look at the top 10, obviously we have our 2 favorites down here, and shout out to the guy who finished 10th, Roto Gut guy, Vlad Sedler, really good guy in the business, and Goudsaab, he wound up placing in two of the spots and won like 10 grand total.
Yeah,
Paulie D, I'll tell you what, he might not have placed, but I guarantee you, our boy did work down there. I am very proud of him.
Yeah.
We are working on some big things. I don't want to say anything to really jinx it. I hope it's going to come through big things, hopefully. Okay, guys? That's all I have to say. I would not say big things if I wasn't really in it. Like, this is big if we can do this. So anyways, but yeah, he really went down there and represented Wise Take as best as he could, and was talking to everybody, talking us up. People were starting to know us. So you're from Wise Take, this and that, and was really proud of him. And I just hope that in 4 weeks when we're down in Vegas, we can represent the nation, Hootie Hoo Nation, just like Paulie D did this past weekend. And also shout out to Fuego. He was there all weekend, also cheering on our boys and having fun. Yeah. And it was a good weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It's I texted Paulie, man, immediately after, and obviously I'm sure Paulie's a competitor. He wants to win and all that kind of stuff, man. So it's like, I didn't want to, just talk him up too much and let him do his thing, let him have fun, enjoy the night, because the night wasn't over. Like you said, man, Paulie's gonna do his thing. Paulie was doing his thing before. Paulie's gonna do his thing after. Just to agree with what you were saying, but man, the stones on that dude, man. You want to talk about balls, man? Paulie D got some balls, man. Fading Kluber on this kind of slate with no clear-cut second option, going against what 70% of the field had him in 100.
76.
How many people are in there?
Yeah.
Do you know exactly?
How many people had Kluber?
No. How many people are in the contest? 100 and.
I think there was 70.
Oh, just
so there's 100 entries. There was 100 entries, but I think there was 70 people because people had multiple entries.
But 100 lineups, right?
Yes.
So 100 lineups, 70 of them had Kluber, and 76, and then he went ahead and he faded him, and that's balls. And you know what? It would have paid off for him because Kluber, considering his price on a point per dollar level, he did bust. Like he only got in the 40s on FanDuel. So. So it was the right, in general, I think it was the right decision. And we talked to Paulie, and the reason that he made it to the final was on something similar. He faded some of the chalk pitchers and went cheap when everybody else was going up, and that's what got him the seat. So simple as that, man. He trusts his process as he should. His process got him there, so he went with his process to take him. And maybe it didn't happen this time, but Paulie's going to end up back there again, man. That's the way he is, man. He knows what he's doing, and that process will get him down here again, and it's going to pay off for him next time. So, again, shout out to Paulie Goudsaab too, man. Good job, man. Cashing in 2 entries, that's a tough thing to do also. Shout out to those guys, man. We're proud of them, repping the nation.
And for those that didn't really see me because I was still sharing my screen when I said Paulie's doing work there. So I want you to see the seriousness and the excitement in my face. Paulie went down there with objectives, and he got it done. Okay? He got it done in Chicago. We have some big things planned for you guys. You're going to love it. I don't want to jinx it. I hope it comes through. But I'm telling you, we got some really big things planned for the Y Stake Nation. Stay tuned. I am so excited for this. Trust me. You have no idea. Anyways, though.
Yeah, man. It's funny while you're on the subject. Absolutely, Paulie's. Obviously, what you're saying. You've hyped it up, and it's worth every bit of that. But on the back end, we got just in general, we got a lot of exciting things in addition to what you're referring to. Working on the back end, man. So
football season's coming.
Football season's coming, and we got a lot of stuff on the back end we're working on. Anyway, man, let's talk about this slate because if we have time at the end, I'd like to maybe touch on some football. So, you want to dive in, bro?
Yes, let's dive in. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. We have our resident groupie, Miss Jones. Hi, Miss Jones. Good to see you again. Thank you. I always like it when you come in. Thank you, Miss Jones. Anyways, let's keep going. And everybody else.
And everybody else. Say hello to. Everybody. No special
treatment we have
here.
Girl like Miss Jones.
No special treatment from Joe.
Okay.
That's funny.
So.
All right, we got Rafael Montero of the New York Mets visiting Luis Cesar of the New York Yankees. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, this is the Subway Series, right?
That's
this is big time. Wow, everybody's like, let's attack the Mets, and today the Mets is what won the guy the tournament. So Cesa's 5-5, or he's really cheap. So I'm okay with these lefty bats again. I wish I would have somehow got I had like I said, I wish I was somehow on Granderson or something because I liked Conforto a lot, and I liked Reyes too. I think Cesa can be hit. And on the other side, Montero is nothing special. It's a big game. It's a rivalry game. So why not stack this game? Stack the Yankees wherever you can. There's not really any high pitching options today, so you can get any bat in. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, man. I think I'm with you pretty much for the most part. I think the bats are certainly in play here. There's no line because Tanaka was obviously the listed starter, and we all know he was recently put on the disabled list, so I think that's the reason that there's no current line. But I'm expecting to see a high total here, 56% humidity, 78 degrees. It's Yankee Stadium, the smaller of the two parks. I think Granderson is really interesting going back to New York now. He's going to get 2 games here today and tomorrow, assuming he plays both. He may not even play because, well, actually he should play, I guess, because, well, they have Nemo that they try to work in there, but today they chose to rest Cespedes. But Granderson, man, he was very successful playing for the Yankees because of that short porch. It kind of really like kind of almost made his name in his career when he had the success he had in the Yankees. Don't get me wrong, he's done well for the Mets while he's been here, but obviously Yankee Stadium is really where that was like his prime. And so I think the value is going to go overlooked on this slate because of like what you mentioned. There's really no dominant like super pay up spots. And a lot of these Mets are cheap, like Dominic Smith. He's a rookie called up. He hasn't done anything yet. But you got a guy like Luis Cessa. That's not a dominant pitcher he's going up against. And, again, you have that short porch. So the Mets lefties are very interesting here. But I would imagine Conforto, Granderson, Cespedes, those are your usual suspects for the Mets. So they will be popular again. Like, it's not going to be a secret, especially after they went off yesterday. But there's a couple of the lefties you don't want to ignore. If Brandon Nemo plays, like Dominic Smith, some of these young guys, you got to respect that short porch. So, yeah, in general, though, the Yankees, too, man. Montero is not good. It's something that, as a Met fan, I can tell you, he is not good. I've watched this guy come up for a while now, and this you get what you get with him. So,
well, he's a reliever, right? Isn't he mostly like a long reliever and he's a spot starter?
He was brought in to be a starter years ago, and he just like, dude, like they keep on like saying like, oh, Montero keeps coming back, and then this year they tried to throw him in the bullpen at one point, and it still didn't work. He was still terrible. So. He is naturally he's a starter though. He's a guy that has he has strikeout upside, but he has some serious walk issues, and he has a vulnerability to the home run. I'll say that putting it nicely. So both bats, I'm with you, man. Both bats are certainly in play. I don't want to downplay the Yankees. They're certainly in play here. Jake Odorizzi of the Tampa Bay Rays visiting Nick Tepesch of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, this is another spot where if you like the bats in this game, I'm all for it. Odorizzi gives up home runs to righties and lefties, home and away. He's very generous. So Donaldson's really hot. I like that. I like Smoke. Maybe mini stacks. I think tomorrow is probably good like mini stacks because there's a lot of places to go. So good, just 2, 2, 2, and 1-offs or something like that. And on the other side, I'm not touching Tepesch even if the Rays do strike out. I think the Rays can hit this guy. I have no problem hitting this guy today. So I think you can attack Tepesch too with the lefty bats of the Rays. Morrison, who else? Dickerson, Duda. I'm all for those.
Yeah, man. I think I'm with you again, man. Tepesch, in his last start, man, he got bombed. He got really bombed. So if there was ever, like, Tampa's been bad, but, like, they've been playing some tough pitchers, man. I mean, they went through the gauntlet against Cleveland. They had to face Kluber, Salazar, and Carrasco, man.
Yeah.
So, like, I know everybody's on this whole Rays are cold kick. And, like, even before that, I know they weren't so hot, but like even before that, they had a couple other names I think that were decent pitchers that they saw. So if there was ever a get right spot for the Rays, this is definitely it against Nick Tepesch.
Nick Tepesch.
We saw him in his last. He got completely bombed, man. So yeah. I think I have a lot of interest in these Rays. I don't think people are going to be too heavy on them just because salary is not really going to be an issue tomorrow for most people. So, and there's a core slate, so it's like I think that kind of makes everything kind of fair game, right? Like there's no set template. Like today, you knew there was one template everybody would go to, which is Kluber, the rest. And like this is not like that. There is no Kluber. This is a little chaotic here. So, yes. Yeah, and as far as Odorizzi, man, like he pitches better at home. I don't mind some of these Blue Jays are starting to heat up. Donaldson obviously is a big one. Batista's heating up. Smoke. Like they might finally start getting going. Like it's so. I certainly think they're in play as well. And we know that Odorizzi struggles against righties in general. So that kind of bodes well for those guys. Ty Blotch, the lefty from the San Francisco Giants, visiting Adam Conley, the lefty from the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't play Mike Stanton tomorrow or Giancarlo Stanton or whoever Stanton you want to call him. You just have to play him until he stops hitting home runs. And tomorrow, Blotch is he's a lefty. I mean he get 2 or 3. So the other side, Conley's been like weird. I can't like put my thumb on him if he's gonna be good or not. I maybe have a little bit of like interest in him in GPPs. Nothing for cash. Because I think you throw a lefty out them, Crawford, Belt, you got some left spans in their lineup. So I think Conley could be okay. I don't know how much upside he has, but besides that, I'm pretty much besides Stanton, maybe a little bit of a Marlins 2-stack or something.
Yeah, man. I totally agree with you on Conley. Like, he's not obviously. There's nothing safe about the situation. But Conley's pitched better. He's pitched decent since he's been back for the most part. I know that and he does have strikeout upside. Obviously, I know that the Giants don't strike out a ton, but when you look like lately with the lineup they've been putting out, like their lineup against the Nats today. Plus, not to mention they played twice today, and then they traveled, and then the lineup that they put out was kind of nasty, dude. So like you got Adam Conley. And like Yorkos, Hernandez, Kelby Tomlinson, Hunter Pence, Buster Posey, Nick Huntley. So Pence and Posey are the only 2 names that I said that you maybe have a little fear of, right? There's 2 guys. That's it. After that, it's all lefties anyway. So it's like, yeah, I think Conley should be considered more so on DraftKings probably, where he's 5'8". I think as an SP2 and a GPP, I think he could be worth a shot for sure, man. That's a great point. And dude, I gotta ask you the question, man. It's a Coors slate. Your favorite Braves pitcher is pitching in Coors. So it's like we're gonna have Charlie Blackmon, we're gonna have Nolan Arenado, we're gonna have all these guys, right? So Charlie Blackmon's I think around the same price as Stanton.
5,100. Yes. Right? Yes.
What do you? I want to know. What do you think people are gonna do?
I think that they're going to go to Coors because it's safer to go to Coors.
So
it's always safer.
Most people are just going to say, "No, I'm sticking with Blackmon. I'm sticking with the process, the Coors process." If that's the case, then yeah, Ty Blotch. Like, how do you not take Stanton? Unless they just don't pitch to him. That's the only thing that can go wrong here. Is if they're just like, no.
You have to start. They have to start not pitching to him. I don't.
It's ridiculous. And the thing about like Stanton's biggest weakness that we talk about all the time is the strikeout. Ty Blotch has like a 3K per night on the road this year.
Yeah.
Strikeout shouldn't be a big problem for Stanton here. So. I just wanted to. I was just curious because I thought that was interesting, and I thought the same thing about Stanton, bro. Asher Wojciechowski of the Cincinnati Reds visiting Jose Quintana of the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, apparently the Reds checked into the same hotel that the FanDuel Live Final was at. And I guess they roped off an area while the Reds were coming in, and Fuego couldn't get through, and he said that he spit on Adam Duvall. That's what he said. So I don't know if that's true, but Fuego, if it is,
that's crazy.
This is what he said. Classic Fuego.
That's crazy.
Anyways, I want to look at what's the line on this game? Is it out yet? Is there a line on this game?
No, I think they're waiting on the wind. I'm seeing wind blowing out, but only like 7 miles an hour.
Okay, but Quintana's a minus 194.
Yeah.
So
but there's
to me right now, this is who I'm looking at in cash. Is Quintana, just right off the hand. There might be one other pitcher later on that I might be looking at, but I just look at him and I'm just like, well, he's the highest favorite on the board. He's facing a team that against a lefty they don't hit as good. You really only have to worry about Duvall. Kozar didn't play today, so who knows if he's going to play tomorrow. And I like Kivlahan as like a one-off for the Reds, but tomorrow in cash, I mean, Quintana's 8-4 on a Coors slate. Pretty much as safe as I think as you can go. And on the other side, Asher Wojciechowski, he's nothing special. You can attack him if you want with Rizzo, Zobrist, Schwarber, Bryant. And another thing is I don't think very many people are going to go here tomorrow, and it could be a place to go and to get a lot of points because with Coors and some other places, I just think that they might go a little overlooked.
Yeah, man. Asher freaking screwed us last time. Last time he pitched.
Yeah.
We still, regardless, bro. I'm just joking, but he does have some K upside, so that's an issue with the Cubs, right? Strikeout pitchers, so like it makes like a full stack a little curious and more like you're not necessarily going to do 1 through 4. You're going to more try to locate your home run hitters. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to take like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and the one keeps striking out, and then the other, your other guys hit home runs, but then you're eating a goose egg. So I still think the Cubs are in play. I'm not saying to take the Cubs. I'm just saying like you might want to pick your spots here rather than just go 1 through 4 or 1 through 3. Like try to pick your spots of guys that you really narrow it down to guys that can really hit you home runs. And Quintana's interesting, man. Like the Reds have been striking out a little bit more lately, since the All-Star break anyway, and. The only thing that scares me though, man, is if the wind's blowing out. Like I'm only seeing 7 miles an hour, and like I don't really think it's a big deal unless it's like 10 or higher. So like as long as if the wind stays down, if it stays below 10, then yeah, I think that Quintana certainly has to be looked at. The Reds look like shit in Milwaukee, and in general, the Cubs play in a bigger park. So hold on, actually, well, I think I'm only saying that because. I think they. I know Paulie played like Votto, and he didn't do shit. So I'm a little pissed at the Reds at the moment. I'm actually. I've been. You know me. I always tout the Reds. Like I like the Reds in general as an offense, but I'm a little salty towards them a little bit. I mean, Duvall did his thing, but Suarez, maybe Votto, maybe those guys. I might be a little salty towards them right now. But
yeah, I understand.
I gotta ask. Like, there's another pitcher on the slate. That at least on FanDuel, actually on both sites, like he's got to be the cash game chalk. And like I'm not talking about Greinke. I think you probably know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't actually. I really don't. We'll get there. You tell me. I don't know.
We'll get there.
Okay.
All right. I really do because it's a core slate, so we'll get there. Michael Fulmer of the Detroit Tigers visiting Martin, whatever they say, Perez.
Martin Perez, yeah.
Martin Perez of the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, I think that you can attack Perez. He got blown up. I think his last start pretty bad, if I'm not mistaken, against the Twins. Let me see here. Sorry. And I just think that actually he got 46 points. Oh, against the Mets. On the 9th. So he pitched against the Mets and New York on the 9th and got 46 points. So he didn't pitch bad. The start before then was at Minnesota, and he got bombed with 7 earned runs. So, I mean, pick your poison. The start before that, he had minus 2 points. So his highest start was his last start. I think you can attack him with righties and lefties. It's okay to do it. And the other pitcher is, Fulmer. He's just coming off the DL, so I'm not really know what to expect. He could be on a pitch count. So if you want to attack him with one-offs of Mazzara and Chu and Beltre or Odor, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, man. Martin Perez, it's a lefty. It's a great hitting environment. I love taking lefty, the Tigers against lefty specifically. Kinsler and Mickey both sat out today. I'd be interested to see if they play because that does kind of make a big difference to me. But Upton, that guy was red hot. He matched all year. He's been mashing lefties, and like he got hot and started mashing righties and lefties. But against a lefty like Martin Perez, man, I'm not buying it. I don't. The Mets just like kind of suck sometimes. So I do like Detroit again. Upton, Miggy, Castellanos, all these guys. They're super. On FanDuel, Castellanos is real cheap, and like this is a slate where people aren't going to need to he's interesting because nobody's going to have to play him because there's no top tier pitcher. So like everybody's going to pay up for third base, and like is he still mad cheap, Castellanos? Do you see it by any chance?
Yeah, let me look.
Because I'm looking at the DraftKings pricing right now. He's 4-1 on DraftKings, but
he's 3-3.
He's okay, so they did raise his price a little bit. Okay,
Jake Lamb, he's the same price as Jake Lamb.
Well, that's interesting. That is interesting. But yeah, man, I think the Tigers certainly in play. And yeah, let's pick on Fulmer. You know why? Because like you said, man, his first game back from injury. It's a hitting environment. We saw Darvish get rocked in this place. And I just think that Fulmer coming back his first game, we don't know how long they're going to let him go. And not just that, but he was kind of getting touched up a little bit this year. Like he's had his good games. Don't get me wrong, but we've seen games where he gotten shelled. So why not the Rangers? They got some big, powerful lefties, man. Joey Gallo, Nomar Mazara, Chu, man. Why not? So and on top of that, if Fulmer leaves because he's on a pitch count because he's hurt and the Tigers aren't playing for shit anymore or whatever, then you have the Tigers bullpen in this wonderful ballpark. So yeah, the bats are going to be interesting here. It's another Coors alternative, which we're going to come to next. Anyway, we got Julio Teheran, Patio Joe's favorite Braves pitcher. That's his boy right there. Visiting Chad Bettis of the Colorado Rockies.
First of all, got to tip our cap to Chad Bettis. This is his first start of the year after coming back from cancer. So I tip my cap to you. But I don't know how strong you're going to be. That being said, you want the lefty bats against this guy. So Inciarte, Freeman, Markakis, Adams if he plays. On the other side, obviously you want Blackman, you want Parra. Check to see if Arenado's playing. He kind of went out with a hand injury tonight. So I think you can stack this game. This is good. I'm down to play some Coors tomorrow.
Yeah, it's interesting because like with Bettis, like it's a great point you made, but it looks like he had 4 starts in AAA and his K per 9 was like 5.3. That's in AAA. So it seems like he's still having a little, maybe have a little bit of this the strikeout upside maybe isn't really there right now. Not that he ever had a tremendous amount, but like he had a little bit, And the other thing, but the good thing though is his ground ball rate looked pretty good, and that was one of his advantages when he was before he got ill and all that stuff. Is he was a good ground ball pitcher. So I could see the merit, man. Like, and this game is exactly why when I tell you who I think is going to be the chalk pitcher, I think that you're gonna see where I'm coming from. This game is the reason because they're so damn expensive. I mean, who wouldn't want Freddie Freeman against a righty in Coors Field? Who wouldn't want like Charlie Blackman or Arenado against Teheran or Cargon, right? Paulie's been talking about Cargon. He had a decent game today, and now you got Julio. So I think people are really going to want this game. The Braves don't strike out a ton. They put the ball in play. But I don't know, because people seem to have slightly been falling off of Coors a little bit. But it's been a while. So maybe people are like, they forgot how bad Coors has been this year, and they're going to go back. I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, Coors has always been the reliable chalk. But there was a period where people started backing off. Yeah,
I think that tomorrow with Teheran, I think it's like the way I would play Coors tomorrow. I'd be like, okay, I want Blackman, Freeman. That's how I want to play. That'd be like my 2 1-offs, and maybe one other player, as in maybe like a Parra or Cargo.
It's
player of the month.
August,
it's still August. Cargo,
Paulie D.
Cargo, and Blackman. Paulie D's player of the month. He'd give you the little smile. He'd be like, hey yo, play Cargo.
Hey, I'm with it, man. I'm with it. Colin McHugh of the Houston Astros visiting Zach Greinke of the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is interesting. I'd like to hear your thoughts here.
I think Greinke's a good GPP option tomorrow because the Astros have been cold. So I'm down with Greinke for that. He pitches better at home. McHugh, I think, can get blown up. I think you can stack against his ass tomorrow. And Greinke, I'm all about GPPs. He's my guy tomorrow in GPP. Especially if you're going to fade Coors, boom, this is where you got to go.
Yeah, man, it's a great point you bring up about the Astros because, like, the first initial thing you think of is, okay, well, the Astros don't strike out a lot, right? So we don't want a pitcher, and not to mention that they've been one of the most potent offensive teams in baseball. But they have just sucked lately. Like, over the last, week or whatever, they have just been they've just been terrible. Don't get me wrong, they're not striking out a bunch, but, they're not hitting very well. So, you can see Greinke going, 9 innings in this spot and just getting 8 Ks just because he went 9 innings. You can see it. And, it's a Coors slate. That's not a safe spot. People, even Greinke, people aren't going to say, oh, Greinke in Chase Field against the Astros. Yeah, I'm dying to play that. It's not a situation where people are going to want to. So people aren't going to want to pass up on their core stacks to fit in a guy like Greinke against the Astros at home. That's not something people are going to do. So I think you're right. Greinke is definitely a tournament option. He's an experienced pitcher, and more importantly, it'd be more of like picking on the Astros. Like we like to pick on cold teams, just like how we like to play hot teams. And the Astros have been cold. Like they won today against the Rangers, but it was ugly, dude. Like they're not hitting well. Altuve's like the only one who's consistently like hitting throughout. Everybody else has just been kind of shit. Like one guy will have a big day, but like as a team, they haven't been doing well. So it's a situation where Greinke can kind of go along in the game, even if he doesn't get the Ks. You still have the upside. McHugh kind of burned everybody his last time out against the White Sox, but the White Sox, to their credit, were red hot. And like the Diamondbacks have kind of been shit in the bed. Like they've been a little cold. Like some of these guys, like JD's doing well, Goldie's doing well, but like Lamb hasn't done much.
No.
Pollock hasn't done shit. Like so. This could be a get right spot for them too, because I'm with you, man. I'm not a big Colin McHugh believer. Like I think he's okay, but listen, man, if you think you're a good offense in the major leagues, you've got to be able to hit the Colin McHughs, especially at home in Chase Field. You got to do that. So I think it's a big test for the Astros, and I'm sorry for the Diamondbacks, and even for the Astros for that matter. And this should be, so I'm definitely interested here in the D-backs offense. But I tell you one thing, man. Even if I don't play Greinke, I don't think I want too many of these Astros, man. I've just gotten burned by them too many times, man. It's, they're just fucking cold.
Our man Brian Tulloch is not too happy about him.
Oh,
the Astros.
Man. Oh yeah, man. They just been friggin' Ugh. Anyway, Jake Eunice of the Kansas City Royals visiting Jarrell Cotton of the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, oh, good. I think the Royals are a sneaky team to stack tomorrow against Cotton. When I first came out there, I like Moustakas, Hosmer, Kane, Merrifield. Like it. And then on the other side, I think you can also stack some couple A's. I like Chris Davis tomorrow as a one-off if you didn't want to even stack. I just like him as a one-off tomorrow against Junis. He hits righties just as good as the lefties, maybe even better.
Better.
But besides that, I'm off.
Yeah, man, we've seen like anytime Oakland's chalk, you don't want them. This is a spot where I doubt they will be, so they're interesting. They're not really going up against any tough competition, and the Royals have been red hot, man. Matter of fact, I think the A's have been hitting pretty damn well too, actually. Because that Matt Olson guy, I feel like every time I look at FanDuel, he has a home run. I feel like that guy, Matt Olson. So like these are teams, like it's a 10-game slate. There's still a decent amount of games, and there's still a lot of good spots. But like this is a game that's going to go completely overlooked. And like if you're doing multiple lineups, it's probably worth a shot to take a hard look at the A's here. But Kansas City, I think, is in play either way, like you said, just because they've been red hot. They've been really hitting the ball with Moustakas. Melky Cabrera seems to be happy there. Whit Merrifield had a huge game today. Caden did well. So yeah, man, I think the bats are interesting here, and I think for the A's, like for the Royals, I think they're just flat out in play, even though they're the underdog. And then for the A's, for me, it's more like obviously you can always go to Cash Game Poor and Jed Lowry for your simple needs, but it's more of like a larger field tournament. Like, you do multiple lineups, get some exposure to maybe get some A's in there. Kevin Gausman of Fuego's Baltimore Orioles visiting Giovanni Gallardo of the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, I think this is still. I think Gausman is a GPP option for tomorrow against the Mariners. I wouldn't want him in cash at all. You can also probably stack against him because Gausman can be Mr. Gas Can. And on the other side, Gallardo, he can really get blown up by the Orioles. So I like Chris Davis, I like Machado, I like Scope, I like a lot of all the other guys up at the top of the lineup. Jones, if he's playing, yeah, I'm all about that. This is a decent game. I think it's another game that's going to go a little bit overlooked.
Yeah, man, I think I'm with you there. I like Gausman. I've been playing him a lot recently. But I don't really want to play him necessarily on the road against like a team that doesn't really strike out a lot, especially a team that's loaded with lefties. Robinson Cano and Kyle Seager specifically have hit him hard in the past, and like it's not a huge sample, but they've hit him pretty hard. Kyle Seager at home run today, he might be waking up a little bit. Robinson, I just don't really want to pick on the Mariners. So yeah, in cash, definitely not. In tournaments, I get it. Gausman showed tremendous upside. We've seen it. We saw him strike out the Angels in his last start. The Angels are a team that typically don't strike out a lot, right? So, and him, Bundy too, man. Bundy's been on friggin' fire, man. Bundy has been absolutely on fire. Like, I know it's off topic, but damn. Interesting, Yovani Gallardo, revenge game. Playing Baltimore, man. He was terrible for Baltimore. He was the absolute worst. He's way better for Seattle than he ever was for Baltimore. He was just, the park, big difference in the park, All right, you ready to get to that game I was telling you about?
Yeah.
Jared Eichhoff of the Philadelphia Phillies visiting Travis Wood of the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, so this is probably the guy that you think is the other cash game guy, right? Is Eichhoff?
Well, it's the last game. There's two teams
left. It can't be anything else, so it's got to be, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I could see it. I don't know. I guess you could say that it's Eichhoff for the Padres. Yeah, I guess I could see that. I think Quintana's a better pitcher. He's at home. He's a higher favorite, right? And yeah, he's a higher favorite. Yeah, Eichhoff's an underdog tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that. So cash says if you're telling me he's cash, then that means Quintana's GPP then, because I think Quintana is.
No. I'm not saying that I necessarily would play Eichhoff in cash. I'm just saying I think a lot of people will because he's cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I feel like a lot.
Well, he's only
$1,000
cheaper than, I don't know. He's not that much cheaper than Quintana in my opinion.
Well, yeah, you're right. Quintana is pretty cheap, isn't he? You know what it is?
Yeah.
I was looking at DraftKings. He's like $11K on DraftKings, Quintana.
Okay.
So I was looking at. I just assumed that he was expensive on FanDuel as well. 74 for Eichhoff on FanDuel, and then Quintana 84. So $1,000, but like that's like one more Coors bet against the Padres. Like again, like it's something that we'll dig in, and like obviously I would much prefer, like, if I had to trust one of these pitchers against anybody, I would prefer, Quintana's a little bit more established, but Eichhoff's coming off some big games. The Padres, people love targeting strikeout pitch, and like this is a core slate with like you got Stanton, you got freaking Blackman. There's like so many like big bats out there that I can see people saying, like, "Hey, I'm going with Eichhoff." 7,400. I can just see people doing it.
I'd rather, in my mind, I think I'd rather go with Eichhoff and GPP.
Yeah,
because then it's like I can fit in everybody I want. I can fit in a lot more, and I can fit in a better stack.
Yeah.
Because I just don't. If I'm looking at the pitchers as a whole tomorrow, I think he's as low as I would go. Would be, well, maybe Conley at 7,000, which is only $400 less. So it's not like big. So it's nothing that big a deal.
Yeah, yeah.
But everybody else, I'm not touching. So. For cash, I mean, I guess yes, you could play him for cash. I don't think he's not. I just don't think he. Yeah, I think you could play him for cash.
I just think people
I like
will.
Quintana better. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not trying to say I think Eichhoff is the cash play. Like, obviously, we got to dig in on that and like settle. Like, obviously, it's late, so I don't want to make any decisions that I'm held to. But I know for a fact. He in cash. He may not be, even if he's not the most popular option. He will be a popular option. People are going to try it. They're going to think, oh, it's 74, and if that's the case, then that makes me want to stack up the Padres because like, anytime a guy like that is chalk, it just doesn't end well. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. So like, I want to feel it out. If I get the vibe that people aren't going to do that in cash, then I think that GPP, listen, if he's going to be chalk cash, what we always say about the chalk cash pitchers, it's like you can take them because 80% of the field is going to have them, and so if they bust, it doesn't really matter. It's like your boy, the Ryu, right? Ryu,
yeah.
Ryu. He pitched. He was like 8,200 on FanDuel the other day. He was like 70% owned over over so many other pitchers like Seymour, all these other guys. 70% owned, and he did terrible, but it didn't matter because 70% of the field had him, and you only have to finish in the top 50% at 50-50. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. That's the guy.
Tomorrow is all about like trying to find the most expensive pitcher or the chalkiest pitcher on GPPs and stack against them, because I think that's a way to win, because nobody's really big,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm exactly. There's no surefire option. People will play Greinke in tournaments, but like only because like probably not as much as people should. Like Greinke's good enough that even against the Astros, even in this ballpark, we should still be considering him. A lot of people they don't want to pick on the Astros. They're not going to want to do it. And so who are you left with? You're left with Quintana against the Reds. You're left with Michael Fulmer against the Tigers. And I'm talking like the public reads. Like Connolly, Connolly's a guy I think is very interesting, and I'm starting to like him a lot more, especially on DraftKings at 5.8. But not a lot of people are going to try to play. I just don't think a lot of people are going to play him. You know what I mean? Like I really don't. So it seems like a pretty interesting tournament slate, like a great tournament slate, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
For show. So we'll open it up for questions in the chat. If we don't have any questions, we got a bunch of people watching, but the chat's quiet. So if there's not any questions while we're doing the Dong Watch, then we'll move on. We'll talk about a little bit of football. But let's play some Dong Watch, and then we'll answer any questions. Again, let's just go. You know what? Because there's no pitching today. Why don't we go catcher, second base, shortstop? No. Second base. Yeah. Catcher, second base, shortstop. Let's do that.
Okay. All right. Tomorrow, no Coors, right? Okay.
Right. No Coors.
I'm gonna go with Gary Sanchez.
Yes. The obvious. That should be the number one.
Yes.
He's home. Like that. He's got to be. I'll go with James McCann against Martin Perez.
All right.
Second base, Joe.
Second base. It will be. I'm gonna go with Whit Merrifield again. I'm gonna double down on him.
Yeah, I like
Whit
that.
Merrifield.
I like that call. He had a huge game today, man. Just monster.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'll go with Brad Miller. I could see him kind of riding the ship, and like I'm kind of, he's, on FanDuel he's real cheap at 2.9, and I kind of like the Rays in general here. And I want to attack Tepesh after what I saw in his last start. Like I know it may be a little too much recency bias, but I want to try it. Shortstop, Joe.
Didi Gregorius.
Didi. Yes. Didi. Okay. Let's see. Shortstops. Shortstop is pretty nasty. But I think I'm going to go with... I guess I'll go with Tim Beckham. He's been red hot.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? No, we'll go with Tim Beckham, see if he's home run. Nice. So, okay, Rob. You're one of our members, so we're going to try. Who's your top 5 batters? Rob, it's tough, man. Like we haven't really had a chance to dig in. Like we played some Dong Watch, so that should give you an idea of some of the batters that we like and at the positions. Who has the best hitting conditions? Was that?
Blackman. Okay, I'll give him 5. Blackman, Arenado, Freeman, Parra, Reynolds. There's 5 players from quarter.
Yeah.
Really though, I like Blackman, Freeman, Stanton, and Parra. And I mean, no. Instead of Parra, let's say Cargo. Let's say Cargo and Chris Davis. Those are my 5. Right from the first look.
So I do like Rob's second question. Rob's obviously one of our members, so we know. He has who has the best hitting conditions for runs tomorrow. Obviously, we want to confirm these things with the weather forecast, but from what I can see, like the obvious situations, obviously Coors is always just because they're in the elevation, they have thin air, and it looks like the wind could be blowing out a little bit there. Chase Field is another situation. The air is very thin, so the ball carries well.
Maybe Wrigley, because it says right
Wrigley.
now 7 miles per hour could be.
If that wind kicks out, yes, definitely Wrigley. And then the Rangers, Arlington, 96 degrees, 36% humidity. It gets real hot over there in Texas, and the ball tends to carry. So, and then of course, obviously, like New York's going to be a good spot too. New York, 78 degrees, 56%. But like more importantly, the park is small, so it's like the combination of that. There should be a good amount of runs. You got two. We'll just be nice and say mediocre pitchers, even though Montero I think is worse than a mediocre pitcher, but so we should see some runs there. So that would be it. Texas seems impossible to figure out. Yeah. Yeah,
there's some teams that's how it is.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Just, you can't figure them out.
Dude,
it's just the way
everybody has, Rob, everybody has a team or a player that they just cannot figure out. Everybody has a team or a player that they could typically are pretty good with, right? Like, you'll see, like, there'll be a guy where, like, all of a sudden you'll just have, like, a knack for calling this guy's good games. But like you said, Joe, you'll have multiple teams and players to where no matter what you do, you don't, like, the minute they'll hit 20 home runs in a row, the day you play them, they stop and they hit the biggest cold streak. And like when that happens, dude, you gotta fight through it or stay away, man. You just, man, like it happens sometimes, bro. Like Joe, like I know the Nationals, man. To you, man, they've been.
I can't pick them right. Yeah, I try to.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
man.
Oh, they look good today. No, they don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So I don't see any other questions here. So why don't we talk a little bit about football, man? Because I'm super excited. I was telling you, I had the wife was watching Game of Thrones. I was watching with her. I don't really follow the show, but like when it's on, I respect it enough to I can appreciate what I'm seeing. So I was going back and forth between preseason highlights, which is a little pathetic, and and the Game of Thrones. But I'm so excited for football, man, and watching that stuff. And like Hard Knocks, the show, episode 1 was out, man. So I was just watching that with Famous Jameis. And I completely forgot they got the Deshaun Jackson. So that's why, like, I'm trying to get us to talk about football, even just a little bit on these pods at the end. Because there's a lot of these things that I forget. And Joe, please, what I need you to tell me, man, what are some of the most notable secondaries? Like tell me some secondaries that are maybe like we should expect to be bad, and then also tell us some of the secondaries that maybe have improved, maybe aren't gonna be as bad.
Okay, so I mean you're attacking Green Bay, you're attacking the Jets secondary, you're attacking Buffalo, San Francisco. Let's see here, Cleveland, and Tennessee. Those are the top 6 of the worst secondaries in the league. So that's what you got to look at right now, at least to start. Now, the secondaries that have improved, I mean, knowing the ones that have improved, that's a kind of a hard question. I think you will see how they do on the field. I think the one thing that you have to think of is that the Bills secondary, which was already bad, they traded their best cornerback just recently to Philly. They traded Ronald Darby to Philly. In exchange, the Rams sent E.J. Gaines, one of their worst cornerbacks, to Buffalo as a part of the Sammy Watkins deal. So I think Buffalo's secondary got worse.
And they lost a top receiver.
Yes. Like listen, they have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds next year.
Yeah.
But you're basically telling your fan base before the season even starts that we're playing for we're playing for next year. We're not even playing for this year.
They're literally
too bad
tanking.
Bills fans.
Oh no, man! It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Especially like when they had Rex Ryan in there, and like, listen, you can put anybody in there, and if you don't have the talent, you're just not going to go. And that's something that they lacked, and they just lacked the proper talent. But like at least they were relevant. Like at least like they were a threat. Like they beat New England before, and like during the season, and they beat the Jets twice the one year, and like the Jets have always been like the top 2 teams. It's always New England, and then the Jets. And then that's it. The rest of the AFC don't matter. And the Bills, like, they were up there. And, like, just to kind of get kicked in the nuts, like, you bring back Tyrod Taylor. And so, like, you're giving some of these fans hope. Because a lot of Bills fans like him. And then you kind of just like throw him off to the curb, and they leave him out to dry. And basically, like, oh, we brought you back because we're gonna tank, and you're the perfect quarterback for us to tank with. So
we won't have to pay you later.
Yeah, we won't have to pay you later, and you can say goodbye to your friend Sammy Watkins because we just sent him away for nothing.
Yeah, I was talking to my boy who's a Bills fan, and I was telling him, I was like, why would the front office do this? Because you're in a division where, okay, yeah, you're not going to beat the Patriots, but you have 2 wins against the Jets, and Dolphins just lost Cutler, or just lost Tannehill, and getting Cutler. So it's like,
oh shit.
So you win those 2 games. That's 4 wins, and so maybe you win 1 game against New England. If you don't, then you could maybe be in the playoff hunt. But instead, it just seemed to me like something went on. Maybe there was something internally that we don't know about, and they traded him.
Yeah, man. It's like, and like initially that was kind of my thought, was like, oh, the new management team must really not like Sammy Watkins, but like, I feel like for them to let him go for what they did, it was probably more like what you just said. I think it's more of just they decided they want to go in a different direction. Like. Maybe they didn't. Maybe there was something in Watkins that they didn't want to, like, they didn't really foresee him being a part of their future, or he wasn't. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I'm having a hard time to get that out. Hey, here's a question from Rob Kahn. What's your predictions for records of the NFL teams?
Well, I mean, there's 32 of them. I mean, come on, Rob.
Why don't we say? You got time, bro? Why don't you tell us who your top 4 teams are from the AFC, and then maybe your top 4 from the NFC? How about that?
Okay, so New England, Pittsburgh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this, but I'm going to. The Chargers and the Raiders.
The Raiders.
I think those are the 4 teams in the AFC.
The Raiders, dude? I thought you said that you thought they were going to be a bust. You mean like for fantasy purposes they were going to be a bust?
I think that Amari Cooper is going to be the biggest bust in fantasy football this year. That's just my opinion. Jimmy Hooker, best pitcher to stack against tomorrow. I think we're stacking because he came in late. We'll answer it real quick. I think I'm stacking against Tehran tomorrow or Betts with the lefty bats. I'm also stacking against Jarrell Cotton and Gallardo and Perez. Those are the 5 right now just to look at.
Yeah. I'm really liking the Tigers the more I look at it, man. Like just because like of all the teams that are in good spots, I just feel like people just don't like to play actually that's not. They've always been popular historically, but they hit a spurt where they were like so bad that I feel like maybe people finally are veering away from them a little. You know what I'm saying? Because like they're a popular DFS team in the past, back when they were good. But maybe people just, you know what, man, I'm tired of targeting against this Perez dude. Man, I'm tired of playing these Tigers I got them to play for. And if that were the case, I'd like to have me some Tigers exposure. For sure.
I think the Titans are going to be good. Maybe you might be right. It's still so early to think the Titans could make the playoffs. They could win their division. In the South, it all depends on who's going to be quarterback for Houston and if Andrew Luck is healthy.
No, you know what else it depends on? If Marcus Mariota's fragile behind can stay healthy. Listen, I love Mariota, man. Oregon is one of my favorite college football teams. That was more under the Chip Kelly era. I love watching them play, man. They're fast-paced. It was exciting. Marcus Mariota was awesome. But he's proved, you worry. Like, you look at the guy, you're worried a little bit about his frame. He's a very thin guy. And you worry he likes to run. He's fast and he'll take off. And you worry, man. Like, you can't be getting hurt, man. You're a big part of that damn team. Dude. You were drafted with Jameis Winston, man. So that's my only concern about the Titans. I think they have the potential. Mariota has the great potential to be good. I'm just concerned about his durability.
Yeah, I think they have 2 good running backs. They have a good tight end. the receivers are a little bit left to be desired. Rashard Matthews, and we'll see how Corey Davis can be. But they're going to be a decent team. I think they're going to be a decent team. There's the margin for the teams that are 2-14 and the Patriots is, believe it or not, is not that much. It's health is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing in the NFL is health, and offensive lines and defensive lines. Those are the most underrated. I'm a big believer in guys is study the offensive lines for the teams, because those are what's going to get you the good running backs.
Right.
You got to know the depth charts and stuff. Here's what I'll go over. I won't go over like some teams that maybe hasn't improved their secondaries, but I'm going to go over some teams that have bad matchups against secondaries that you're going to have to be looking at. The worst on the season is the Dallas Cowboys. So receivers like Des Bryant and Terrence Williams, they're going to have tough matchups all year. The Eagles, so Alshon Jeffrey. The Niners, so Pierre Garçon. The Rams. And then finally, on the 5th, guess what? The Oakland Raiders, like I said, they have the 5th hardest schedule against secondaries. So that's why I'm tempering my expectations on Amari Cooper. And if you look at his numbers the last 2 years compared to Michael Crabtree's outperformed him, and you can get him at 5 rounds later. Maybe not this year, but before you could. So, and in DFS,
beast
Cooper,
mode, bro.
well, in DFS, Cooper is always more expensive than Crabtree, and Crabtree is like cash game porn.
Yeah,
in football.
He's your Jed Larry.
Serious, he is. He really is. He's like 5 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. It's just like boom, boom.
Yeah, that's the other thing about it. Like, I feel like when people do here's a little tidbit for some of those people out there. Like, regardless of whether you're using a model or whatever you're using for your research, and you should be doing research. Like football, Joe, we talk about it all the time. Football is very much a sport where like you have an advantage if you know the game, if you watch the game, if you get the game, you have an advantage. But if you don't, there still are stats you can use out there to put you in the best position for DFS. Understand, like, know where the targets are going, know who's getting the big target shares, and not just like in general, but like in the red zone specifically. Because you made a great point, man. Like Crabtree got a ton of red zone targets last year. Like if you would have looked at the overall for most of the season, you would have seen Amari Cooper's name on top of the target list. But if you would have switched it over to the red zone, you would have seen that Amari Cooper got just as many targets as Crabtree in the red zone. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's that was, because you brought it up, that was just something I wanted to mention. I'm excited for football, man. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I think a big thing about DFS football is knowing the cornerback and receiver matchups.
Yes.
Knowing that, you might not like the slot receiver for Cleveland, but because he's facing the worst slot cornerback in the league, he's going to get 10 targets.
Right.
You just have to know that.
Yeah,
so
you have to they're going to pick on this guy. Like,
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure we are going to have something like that on our site when it comes to time, because cornerback receiver matchups to me are really, really important to know who's facing who, because I'll know to fade. I'll know if that's a GPP matchup. I know if it's a catch matchup. To me, that's really big when it comes to picking a receiver.
Yeah, man, 100%. I'm definitely with it, man. Anyway, man, you know what? It's about that time. I think. I think
head on out of here.
I think it's about time to roll up out of here. So listen, before we do the outro gimmick, I'm going to do the podcast gimmick. And that is, we appreciate all you guys tuning in with us, especially you guys that hang out late with us every Sunday night for the live ones. We appreciate you, man. You're staying up late, got work and shit the next day, but you still stay up late and hang out with us. So because of that, we appreciate all the podcast followers. So we do a special promo code for our Wise Take premium DFS community. It's a phenomenal thing, man. We got models. We have big things coming up as far as some of our data-driven tools. Huge things we're in the process of. We've got big guests, potentially big spots in general. We're building relationships with obviously guys like Brian Tullock and those guys, man. We're becoming really a staple in the DFS industry. And it all starts with our own community, man. We have a great community of people. If you want to join up, come see. We offer live premium streams Monday through Friday. We offer articles. Joe writes our straight cash homie cash game baseball articles. And we're going to be providing articles for football and basketball as well. Paulie D, same thing, and it's exciting, man. It's about time you hop on the train. Our chat conversation. We got Goudsaab. We have 2 live finalists just hanging out in our chats, man. Goudsaab, Paulie D. We have a phenomenal team. So because of that, go to wisestate.com, enter promo code podcast, and save 20% off any of the memberships, monthly, weekly, or daily. But yeah, anyway, Joe, you about ready to get out of here, bro?
Yeah, let's get on out of here. Let's get ready for the week coming up, and it's starting, man. Football's starting. I have my first football game on Thursday night.
That's right. That's right. The
Patio Joe ref part, it comes back.
The switch, the on and off switch. Boom.
The on and off switch. Yes, Patio Joe ref. The ref part now comes into play until next. It's so great though, because by the time football season's over, it's like Christmas. It's awesome. It goes by so fast. So.
Oh, yeah,
thank you, everybody who came in today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's always a lot of fun with you guys. We appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that like button. It means a lot to us. If you're listening on Podbean, do us a favor and follow us there. If you're listening on iTunes, subscribe to our channel there. And, of course, leave us some 5-star reviews. Bump us up those charts. If you appreciate what we're doing, all we ask is to support and word of mouth for us, man. But anyway, man, Joe, it's been a blast. Paulie D, we're going to give him a couple days to get settled, man. He's still out there in Chicago. He's probably going to fly home tomorrow or something. So we're going to give him some time. But he'll be back as well for you members. But anyway, for Joe and for myself, as always, good luck.
Peace. Yeah.